This call is now being recorded.
Hello, Bhuvan.
Sir, we can start now, sir.
Yeah, just
Sir, this is
to tell.
Swapna Shanti.
Yes, sir, no, something. Just tell about this course and then I will tell something. How many
Okay, sir.
days? Okay.
So good
So,
morning,
good evening.
friends and colleagues. So this FDP is on the language called Python. So we have titled it as FDP on Python programming. So altogether, you will be having three modules: Module 1, Module 2, Module 4, and we also have a plan for, Module 1, Module 2, and Module 3, and also we have a plan for module 4, which will be designed as soon as possible. So this is completely about Python programming. So in your module 1, you will actually learn about the basics of Python programming, and in module 2 you will move on with the oops concepts of Python programming, and then in module 3 we will be introducing the data structure and the corresponding algorithms related to data structure using Python programming. So basically, this complete FDP is about this language called as Python programming. So we have planned totally for these three modules for 45 days. So in which module 1 is made out of for 19 days. So we will be working with this every 5 days per week. Okay, so we will be having from Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday will be on off, and then we will again join on Monday. So your module 1 is for 19 days, and I will be your teacher for your first module, which is based on the basics of Python programming. So this is, hopefully this is enough. As of now, this is enough for the introduction of the FDP. Sir.
Okay. And timing?
Timing only for these 2 days, the timing is for 3 to 4, and we are going to concentrate only on theoretical sessions on these 2 days, because we people are being uh, with our own academic schedules for the 7th and 8th. So from 9th, we are having a reschedule. That is from 2 to 3, we will be having a theoretical session, and from 3 to 4, we will be having our practical session. So for the first 2 days alone, we will be having a theory session. That is, there will be only 1 hour session. And from 9th, you will be having two sessions. 2 to 3 will be your theory session, and 3 to 4 will be your practical session.
Okay.
This is the timing, sir.
Okay. 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 Good evening, one and all joining for this wonderful session, Python programming. Actually, we had a meeting with Vice Chairman. Vice Chairman initiated that all the faculty members must learn one language, either it's a Python or C language. So we want to take up this based on the current trend, that is all the companies and industry, whether it is irrespective of the domains, people are using the Python as a programming language for their for solving their problems. So learning Python is it's very easy initially, and then there are a lot of packages depend on the users. Like I think many of our faculty members learn MATLAB. So MATLAB, they have many packages. So that is what you can call the modules. So if you want to work with EC department, they have to choose particular modules. If you want, if the biomedical department want to work, they can choose the different modules. Like that, Python is fundamentally is a module 1 is deal with the fundamental things, 19 days. So you can learn the basic programming, how to program in Python. That is all the structure of the Python and the statements, all these we can learn. So I request all the faculty members, our faculty member will give only the 60% of the input on Python, but you have to show an interest to learn by yourself. That's called self-learning. There are many tutorials are available. You can use the tutorials. I think our faculty team have coined the how to do the practicals also in this. Just follow the assignments and the instructions given by our friends, and that's enough to learn. They will take you to learn this programming skill, programming things. I think many of you learn C language. Those who are already learned C language, it is very easy to learn. For others, those who are not learned any languages, programming skills, for them also is very very easy. Very just like that we can learn the programming things. So learning language, I think earlier said, learning the speaking language, it's equal to 1%. That is, if you know 4 speaking languages, that means you will become a 4%. So like that, nowadays in the computer programming, learning programming language, different languages, which gives you to think differently. That is the main thing. That is, your thinking ability will increase by learning the programming language. I request all of you take it as with interest. Please learn this. Don't think as a burden. I know that when we can learn, means it is very difficult to learn. So whenever the opportunity is there, please join and then learn. I think we have joined, we have shown the interest. First of all, I congratulate all the faculty members who have shown the interest to study the Python language. And we have initiatives, great initiatives for Faculty 4.0. In your domain, if you want to specialize in your domain, you can choose the area and then do something for our college. Learn first yourself and then do something for the industry and then teach to the students. Then you will become a Faculty 4.0. So you have to equip yourself to come to this Faculty 4.0. This is nothing but new technology. Learn new technology, and you should be pioneer on that technology and then teach to the students. That is Faculty 4.0. We have started this Faculty 4.0 in CSE department. They are learning many programming languages, and now they have already taught to the students the programming skills by using 2 courses, what you can say, open elective courses, programming language and advanced programming language. So like that, many new technologies you have to learn and then equip yourself, and you should be, you will become a very good resource person to our institutions. That is our aim. So I request all the faculty members use these opportunities and learn whatever the instructions, whatever our friends are saying, and don't stop with what's happening in the class. Please learn. Saturday, Sunday use for this self-learning purpose. That's why Saturday, Sunday is holiday. 1 hour you can spend. Even after 6 o'clock, you can literally spend 10 early morning or evening. You can learn this Python language very quickly. So you will become a master. So I want to add one point. Here, this bridge course we have conducted for the first year. First year, our faculty, computer science faculty members have given training to first year students in the bridge course faculty Python programming, in which physics faculty Anandraj joined. Sir, I want to teach Python to in the bridge course. He also joined and taught the course for the first year students. Really, it's very nice. And people from other department domains also coming forward to learn Python and then teach to their students. If you are having the Python skills, you can teach this course to your students in a different manner. Instead of teaching a computer science faculty to teach the aeronautical students, the aeronautical teacher learn Python and then teach to the students is entirely different. I wish this sessions modules please attend all the 4 modules, and then you will become a master in Python. It's a lifelong learning. Okay, we can't just learn one module and then become say that I am a programmer, but you have to practice well, solve the small problems, and that will give you a confidence on you. Definitely we will become a very good Python programming. So thank you very much for the opportunities. I thank all the resource persons from our college, okay, from computer science department. All the people last 20 days they had a personal training. The team conducted themselves equipped to teach this course. I thank all the faculty members who are involved for preparing these modules for our faculty members. Thank you one and all, and thank you Bhuvan and team. Thank you, sir. We have Jay and Rajesh, many people. Okay, sorry if I forget any name. All you are involved in this process, and they have come forward to teach this to our faculty members. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, friends, I'll just introduce myself first. So, myself, Swarna Shanti, Associate Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So, hope I'm audible.
Ma'am, Swarna Shanti ma'am.
சொல்லுங்க சார். Yes, sir.
எல்லாரும் ஒரே பேட்ச் தான் இருப்பாங்க மேம்.
70. The theoretical session is only one batch, sir.
Okay, ma. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So I'll come again. So myself, Swarna Shanti, Associate Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So I will be your teacher for the teacher. I won't put the word teacher over here. So I'm your friend and your colleague who is going to help you out in this teaching learning process of this language called as Python programming. So hope I'm audible. So I'll directly move on with the initial discussion of this FDP. Okay, so I will just repeat certain things that I have already given to you before the Dean said talk. So I'll just repeat it once more. That is what is our complete plan. So as we said, this is an FDP on Python programming. So we have 3 modules over here: module 1, module 2, and module 3. Module 1 is about basics of Python programming. Module 2 is object-oriented concepts of Python programming, and Module 3 is about data structures and algorithms with respect to Python programming. And still, we have a plan of conducting Module 4, which is relevant to your own discipline. So we are planning over that. So this is your day 1 with your Module 1. So before getting into the actual learning of this particular FDP, so I'll just want to give you a clarity on this theoretical and laboratory session that's going to take place under this FDP. So you will be having a theoretical session for 1 hour. So there are 7 days in your week. So we will be engaged for first 5 days, that is from Monday to Friday. So the duration for the theoretical session is going to be 1 hour. So we will be proceeding with the process of teaching and learning in our theoretical session, and we will also try to work out some quizzes and exercises in our theoretical session itself. Okay, so this is your first part. Day-wise, in your day-wise plan, this is your first part, that is your theoretical session, and your second part is going to be a laboratory session where you people, your entire team, that is of 90 faculties, you will be divided into 7 teams. Okay, you will be divided into 7 teams, and each and every team, or you can say it as a batch, will be associated with a specific laboratory trainer. Okay, our teacher itself will be acting. Another 7 people, 7 resource person, that is our computer science and IT department faculties, will be your lab teachers for the duration of 1 hour every day. So again, you 90 people are getting divided into 7 groups. Okay, so there in that, during that 1 hour, you will be working out quizzes, exercises, and assignments related to NFETQ portal. So I'll just tell you what is this NFETQ portal. So the syllabus of this FDP is completely based on the syllabus, okay, which is being defined by Infosys in their portal called as InfyTQ. Okay, so where these are defined as courses, all these three modules are defined as different three courses. Okay, so we have taken the syllabus of Infosys and we are trying to give it as an FDP to our teachers. So what is our concept over here is that syllabus is really very good, and the quizzes, exercises, and assignments that are present in that portal are very much good to work out. So as a participant, uh, our teachers need to register in that InfyTQ portal. So I will be uh, helping you out in that registration process later this session. So you have to register into that InfyTQ portal and to that specific course. So module 1 is about Python programming, the fundamentals of Python programming. So you have to register for that particular course, and you can go through that course. Okay, you can have a self learning over there, and side by side our teacher, we will be teaching also. Okay, we will teach with some extra content, so you can work out quizzes, exercises, and assignments in that InfyTQ portal. You have to. Okay, but we cannot keep a follow up of that portal. Actually, as a teacher of REC, we cannot keep a follow up if you have registered into that InfyTQ portal. So what we have done as the second part of your laboratory session is, we have another portal in our college which is being called as Digital Cafe. Okay, so in that Digital Cafe we will be posting MCQs and problems to be solved during your laboratory session. So the point 3 and point 4 in your laboratory session, that is MCQs in Digital Cafe and solving problems in Digital Cafe, is mandatory because they are accountable. So we can keep the follow-ups over that, because we can find out whether you people have finished it or not. So solving those MCQ, solving the problems, and working out those MCQs in the Digital Cafe portal is important and it's mandatory. Okay, but to improvise yourself uh, in a self-based manner, it's you have to register in the InfyTQ portal, and at the same time you will be you have to try out the quizzes, exercises, and assignments that are given in the InfyTQ portal. So more or less the assignments in InfyTQ portal will be given as problems in your Digital Cafe, so that's not the problem. So quizzes and exercises, if you work out by yourself, you can improvise yourself in a better way. So this is the clear cut plan of this FDP. So module 1, only for these 2 days, that is today and tomorrow, we will be having only theory session which will be handled by me. So there is no laboratory session because we are not getting into Python programming for the first 2 days. Okay, and from the third day we will be having our laboratory session along with your theoretical session. Your theory session will be from 2 to 3 every day, 2 to 3 p.m., and your laboratory session will be from 3 to 4. So this is actually the schedule. So we will also post the complete schedule in that Digital Cafe portal. So I hope Bhuvan sir would have shared a mail regarding this schedule, where he would have given you the Digital Cafe portal, a link to Digital Cafe portal, and he would have given you the password what you have to use in order to log in into that portal. So make a note of it, because after finishing part of this session we will be exploring these two portals, InfyTQ portal as well as Digital Cafe portal. So I will move on without any second. I will move on with the module 1 of this FDP, that is Python programming. So before getting into Python programming, so what we people have to know is why we people are into this program, what is meant as this programming, why people are insisting, pushing us, since we people are from different disciplines, since you people are from different disciplines, you teachers can be from science and humanities, electronics, electrical, mechanical, biotechnology, biomedical. There are wide varieties of people sitting over here for this particular session. So what is the main concept of this session is, we will try to we will try to convince you what actually programming is and why we need, as people sitting from different discipline, why you all need this programming is the main ideology of today's session. So I will move on. Okay, so always you people have this question, why a college are pushing us into this programming, learning of programming. So to make you understand this, if you look into this particular picture, you can see a person sitting in front of two important components of a life, that is a computer and a mobile. Okay, so if he wants to do his personal work or if he wants to do his career work, every in today's coronavirus scenario, everything is being done, whatever communication that we want to do to the outside world, even the teaching that I'm doing now to you, okay, it's a part of my career, but I'm doing it through, or I'm communicating you people through a computer. Okay, so whatever communication that I do, I'm using these two components in my hand, either a mobile or a device like computer or laptop. So we people, this picture is actually a clear cut proof of the society in which we people are living in, which is being called as the digital society. Okay, so we people are living in the era of digital society where the two important components are going to be your mobile phones. Apart from you and me, the other two important components are going to be your mobile phones and computers. So when we see this mobile and computer, okay, there are two important aspects when you work out with these mobiles and computer. Okay, so you can be a person who knows to use the apps or the applications in these devices like mobile or computer. Okay, so you can be a personality who is able to use the applications and apps in mobiles and computers, and you can also be a person who knows about the logics that actually works behind these apps. Okay, so if there is an application called as Google Meet, or if there is an application called as WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all these applications are nothing but programs. Okay, so they will all obviously, they will be having a logic that will work behind them, so that those kind of apps can be utilized by you and me. So now the question, since we people are into the field of teaching, so now the question that arises over here is where we people stand as a teacher, whether we are just a person who knows to use these apps, or we are people who know about the logics of how these kind of apps will work. Okay, so there comes programming. So if this programming is that much important, so that I can be a teacher who knows the logic that how an application works, then obviously I should be on that side. So I have to know why programming is important. So collectively I'm putting certain important points which will tell why programming is important. So I, in the previous slide, I showed two person, one a person who knows to use an app, a person who knows the logic behind those apps. So I always want our teachers to be a person who knows the logic of those apps and how they actually work. So here comes the concept of programming. Okay, so there are further other points that insist that why programming is important. So I will collectively put you with 4 points. So the first point is the programming can be termed as the language of the future. So when I say language of the future, again I'm saying we people are working in different domains, different disciplines, and different sector. Okay, so the growth in all our sectors are very fast. So why they are very fast? Because of the introduction of too much of technologies. So why these much of technologies is being introduced? Because all our fields are integrated with something called as computers. Okay, when I speak about computers, I have to speak about programming. Okay, so if you take each and every domain, whether it's going to be mechanical, biotechnology, things have got into the process of automation. Okay, we speak about industry 4.0. Okay, so something like that. So where programming plays a vital role, the technology is growing very fastly. Why? Because of this programming. Okay, so now programming has Dean sir insisted, in early days we people have to know a language to communicate. Now as a teacher, we people should know the language called as programming, because that's the language of the future. So in our own discipline, if we want to explore ourselves in a better way, we have to know this language called as programming. So this is the first point. And second point, it's a competitive advantage. Okay, so I can even we computer science teachers actually have a grievance towards this, because you people can become competitive to us where we can never become competitive to you, because If you learn computers, you can become competitive to us. But I can't go sit and learn electrical and electronics as of now. So it's a competitive advantage. If you are working as a teacher in a specific forum, in a specific college, and you know a programming language, then desirably you are a better option for many situations rather than a person who doesn't know that skill. Okay, so this skill actually speaks as a competitive advantage wherever you go and wherever you want to shine. So this can be an added star to your profile. Okay, so it's competitive advantage, it provides you competitive advantage. And the third point, it's becoming a needed skill. Okay, so I can speak it from two different perspectives. Whether you people are getting into research, or whether whether you people are going to guide your students in their internships or in their internal projects. Obviously, when your student comes into it, they come with a project which is obviously associated with some sort of computers automation. Okay, so when our students are upgrading in that, as a teacher, now this is becoming a needed skill for us to understand what is actually happening over there. So that is very much important. So now programming is becoming a needed skill for all the teachers across different disciplines. And the fourth point is that you can become a creator. So to become a creator, it's not necessary that after learning this code, okay, I should be able to develop a website, etc., etc. If you have your own interest, okay, if you have your own interest of creating new things, then obviously, that is, if you have a plan of bringing out innovation and a change in your own discipline, whether it's going to be from research perspective or whether it's going to be from the perspective of supporting your students, then obviously programming is important in today's world. Okay, and collectively I can put a very simple point. All these things are not, if you feel that all these things are not that much important, then I can quote that every background, that whatever background or whatever discipline we people work in, if you learn how to code, it actually develops certain brain skills. Okay, so it will improvise your brain skills like logical thinking, analytical thinking, problem solving, and creative thinking. So if you have a daily practice of coding things, then obviously these kind of thought process will improvise. Okay, so if you are not interested to pull in computers into your own discipline, and then this is the final point that I can say, that it will improve yourself. It will improve your brain skills in logical thinking, analytical, problem solving, and creativity. So these are the specific points we can say that we require programming in today's world, since we people are living in the era of digital age. So if we want to bring out innovation and change in our own domain and discipline, then obviously programming is much important. And here I want to uh, specify a specific particular point why we actually selected. We are speaking much about programming over here. So hopefully I think I have convinced you teachers that learn programming, kindly learn programming. Okay, so since we have insisted you people to learn programming, why we selected this Python programming, the language called as Python. So Python is one of the future language, okay, so which can be integrated with many disciplines. So these are the points that I'm giving you, that why we have selected this particular FDP, that especially on this language called as Python. Okay, so first point is, as I said, it can be into this particular Python language can be into many different disciplines. It can support a mechanical engineer, it can support a biotechnology person, it can support electrical and electronics. Wherever you want to bring in innovation, it will obviously support. Okay, that is one thing. And second thing is, it is very easy to learn. Okay, we are teachers. Okay, so we always have the process of learning, so we are always into the process of learning. So learning your own new subject and learning a programming language both of them are same. It's not that much different. So the only thing that we need over here is a little bit curiosity. Okay, so if that is into us, then obviously it's very easy to learn a programming language. And Python, when you compare Python with other languages, it is very, very much easy to learn. So we have selected this Python programming. So now we will move on with the discussion of, now I have told you what is the importance of programming. So learning programming, that is learning to code, is much important. So we will directly move on with the process of what is this program, algorithm, solution of a problem, everything means. So according to this module 1, so we require some sort of scenarios. Okay, so to take in and understand the process of programming. So entirely throughout this module, what we will do is we will take this scenario called as airport scenario. So how things work out in an airport. Okay, so most of the features that we are going to learn with respect to programming or this programming language Python, we will take this airport scenario in hand with us throughout this entire module. This is one of the scenario that we are going to take in and move out. Okay, so I will just give a very simple description about this airport scenario, so you people know much about all these stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to brief it a little. So when we speak about airports, there are two important, uh, I can say it as components, or I can say it as variables or items, or two important parts in an airport. So one is going to be your passengers, okay, another one is going to be the flights. Okay, so when we speak about passengers, passengers will be getting into a flight which is taking off, or passengers will be landing out, will be coming out a flight which is landing. Okay, so generally if you take a passenger needs to follow lots of procedure in order to participate in this event called as takeoff, as well as in this event called as landing. So I will just give a brief discussion about that. So if a person is going to why I'm explaining this scenario now is we will be carrying out this scenario throughout this entire module. Okay, so I'm just all the stuffs that I'm going to show now is very much known to you. So this is just a brief discussion. That's it. So when you speak about the operation called as takeoff, okay, a passenger is going to be a part of a takeoff. So when he comes into the airport, he will actually check in his baggages. Okay, then there will be an immigration check. Then there will be a security check. Then the passenger will board, and finally the takeoff will take place. So these are some of the most important steps that has to be followed whenever a passenger is getting into a taking off flight. Okay, and the second process is about landing. So when a passenger lands out from a flight, he has to go for an immigration check. He will collect the packages, and finally he will leave off. Okay, so when we speak about these two scenarios, uh, we have spoken from the perspective of a passenger. Okay, so what are all the steps or procedures that a passenger needs to follow in an airport when he's going to be a part of a takeoff, or when he's going to be a part of landing. Okay, now when we speak about flights, okay, when we speak about flights, uh, you people know that there will be numerous flights in an airport. Okay, so one flight will never communicate with another flight directly. Okay, but landing of flights and taking off of flights will obviously happen in your airport. And similarly, similar to your road traffic, there will be something called as air traffic. Okay, so that the flights will be given proper instruction in order to move on from one place to another place in a correct way. Okay, so this is actually done by something called as air traffic control. All the flights that are landing and taking off from an airport is being controlled by an air traffic control, okay, from the ground, which gives instructions to each and every flight that how they should travel. Okay, so this things will happen with respect to the flights. There will be numerous flight. Each and every flight will be having a communication with the ground, which we generally term as the air traffic control. And this air traffic control is one which gives instruction to those flights whether they can land, or what is the direction they have to take, etc, etc. Okay, so this is a very simple scenario that we have taken into account, okay, in order to understand the concept of programming. So what is actually a program means? What is a program? So how do we associate a program with respect to this scenario? So here you have an air traffic control in the ground which gives instruction to the flight, okay, so that the flight can move in the correct direction. In the similar way, we can say, okay, we can give instructions to the computer to accomplish a specific task. Okay, so when I take the previous airport scenario as an analogy over here, I can say my air traffic control as the uh, a person who's giving the instructions, and the computer to be the flight which is going to accomplish the task of takeoff and landing. Okay, and that set of instructions is generally termed as a program, and the act of creating that program is known as programming. Okay, so the act of creating a program is generally known as programming. So what I've done over here is I've just described you a scenario. Okay, later we will be following up with this scenario, and we have just connected this scenario to the definition of a program and programming, which is very simple. Okay, so now I will move on with another uh, very much important discussion when we speak about any problem. Okay, so problem implies I gave you a previous scenario, an airport scenario. Okay, so I said passengers come in, they check in their baggages, they go for an immigration check, security check, boarding, and then they will move on with takeoff. So I can consider this scenario as a problem statement defined by my client. Okay, and I can try to build a solution for them. Okay, so whenever I build a solution for the given problem statement, there are three important aspects, okay, that we have to concentrate. One is called as the input. So if I want to implement a specific set of instructions, okay, and I can make my computer to perform that specific task, I have to clearly understand my problem first. So from the given problem, I have to pick up all the inputs. What are all the inputs that are being given to my problem? That is my first aspect. And second is the process or the logic. Okay, so after getting the inputs, I need to proceed with the process of solving that problem. So in order to solve that problem, I need to define a process. Process actually means a set of steps, or I can say it in computer language, I will generally term it as a logic. I need to frame a logic in order to solve my problem. So to apply my logic, I require these inputs, and I can also require certain steps or operations, or we can say it as formulas too. Okay, so that I end up with what is required for my problem, that is solution. So we term it as the output. Okay, so if you take any problem statement and if you try to derive the solution for the problem statement, so these are the three important components that are very much required: the input, process, and output. Whenever a question is being given, retrieve, collect all the inputs out of that question. Okay, then frame the logic. Okay, and use those inputs and derive the respective outputs. So these are the three important aspects of solving a problem. So we will just try to understand it with an example of this airport scenario. So consider that you're being given with a problem of counting the number of flights in an airport. Okay, at present time, what is the number of flights that are standing in the airport? You have to count and tell. You have to tell how many number of flights are present in the airport, standing in the airport. Okay, so if this is your problem statement, obviously you would have been given with some sort of inputs so that you can proceed with the process of solving it. Okay, so what is the input that's been given over here according to your problem statement is, at the start of the day there were 100 flights in the airport. Okay, so at the start of the day 100 flights were standing in your airport. So based on the number of takeoffs and number of landing in the day, so here if you see this value called as 100, one sec. So here if you see this value called as 100 is the number of flights that were standing in the airport at the beginning of the day. Okay, so other than this, you are being given with two other inputs: the number of takeoff, how many takeoff has taken place till now, and the number of landings that has happened till now. Okay, so these three things will be given as input to you. So now you have to figure out the current number of flights that are present in the airport. So you are being given with three inputs. So what are the three inputs? You have given the number of flights that are standing in the airport on the beginning of the day, and then you are being given with the number of takeoffs, and you are being given with the number of landings. Okay, so out of this you have to find out at present how many number of flights are standing in the airport. So here if you see, the solution is very simple. So how do I know my inputs are what? The number of flights landed is one input. The number of flights that took off is another input. Okay, these two inputs have to be given to me. And the initial number of flights should also be mentioned in my problem. So these three becomes the input to this problem. So now from this, we people need to frame the logic. So how do I frame the logic? Can anyone has answered this problem is very simple. So how do I frame a logic for this? I have raised a question, people can answer. Yeah. Hello.
Shall I answer? Shall
Yeah,
I try?
sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, actually we need the data, like what are the total number of flights on that
Yeah.
particular day was there at the beginning of the day,
Yeah.
first data. Then we need to add up the flights that took off and the flights that landed down. So these two data to be added and subtracted from the first one, so we get the
Which
output.
has to be added, which has to be subtracted?
The one which the number of flights that took off
Okay.
from that particular airport, plus the number of flights that landed down to that particular airport to be added up.
So you have to add the flights landed and you have to subtract the flights
Yeah.
that took off. So that's it. So this is your
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
logic.
yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you have to add the flights that have landed to the initial number of flights in the airport. So we have the initial number of flights over here. Okay. So now you have to add this number of flights that have landed, and the total number of flights that have took off should be subtracted from that. Okay, so this gives you the current number of flights that are standing in your airport. So the process is very simple, but this process is important when you work out things in an airport. Now and then you people have to know how many flights are there, okay, in your standing in your airport. So though this solution seems to be very simple, but this process or this operation is very much important in the airport application. Okay, so understand that. So the logics that we are going to frame in most cases will be simple. So the answer should be the number of flight currently in the airport. So that becomes the output. So here if you see, what is the algorithm all collectively put together, what's going to be the output of your what is going to be the input that's going to be given to your problem. Okay, and what was your process, the process that you have written, that is the logic that you have framed in order to get the solution for this problem, can be termed as the algorithm over here. So the process or the logic will also be termed as an algorithm. And finally you end up with the third aspect, that is the output. So when I apply the logic for the given input, I end up with the output. So the process or the logic can be termed as an algorithm. So when we say this as an algorithm, to put it very simply, so whatever we have done till now is in papers. Okay, whatever we have done till now is in paper. Okay, so for example, if you take your own discipline, before implementing a complete product, you people will start up with a prototype. Okay, you will either start up with a prototype, or you will design a circuit and then you will try to implement it into the real scenario. Okay, so that prototype and designing a circuit can be termed as an algorithm over here. So as a developer, I have designed my algorithm, I have defined my logic to solve the problem, and after designing this logic only, I can proceed with the process of coding it. So coding is a play. Coding actually comes in when we are uh, moving ourselves towards a programming language. Okay, so algorithm actually is a place where we design the solution. We have just designed, either it can be paper, either we can sit down, take a paper and a pen, design an algorithm to solve a specific problem. So whatever you write it down on a paper and a pen can be termed as a design, or the process or the logic, which will be later implemented using any programming language. So we will move on with the part of understanding what is this algorithm. So whenever you try to solve a problem, the first step that we have to do over here is to frame the algorithm for the problem. Okay, so algorithms are generally represented in two ways, in the form of a flowchart and in the form of a pseudocode. Okay, so flowchart is algorithm na enna na solita is actually the design of your program. என்னுடைய ஒரிஜினல் ப்ரோக்ராமுடைய டிசைன், என்னுடைய ஒரிஜினல் ப்ராடக்டோடைய ப்ரோட்டோடைப், அதை தான் நம்ம அல்காரிதம்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ தேட் அல்காரிதம் கேன் பி ரெப்ரசென்டட் இன் டூ வேஸ், in the form of a flowchart or in the form of a pseudocode. So flowchart is a diagrammatic way of representing. It's been shown on this side. It's actually a diagrammatic way of representing your design. Okay, so I will start. I will get the inputs. Okay, I will get the initial number of flights. Then I will apply my logic. Then I will display my result. So this is diagrammatic way of representing your algorithm. So each and every shape has a meaning over here. So when I put a shape with like a parallelogram, it actually means you are trying to get input and you're going to display output. So when I put a rectangle over here, this implies a process. You're doing a process over here, and start and end are depicted with this oval shape over here. Okay, so we're not going to concentrate much on the design part with respect to flowchart. We will be working out with pseudocodes. So let us concentrate towards pseudocode. So here if you see in this pseudocode, the pseudocode is very simple. அங்க நம்ம சும்மா எழுதணும், இங்க வந்து ஒரு proper way we have represented our algorithm. So this pseudocode is actually in between your English language and a specific programming language. Okay, so ஒரு programming languageல உள்ள சில constructs-ஐயும் இங்கிலீஷ் லாங்குவேஜ்ல இருந்து சில கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ட்ஸையும் சேர்த்து மிக்ஸ் பண்ணி இஃப் ஐ ரைட் மை அல்காரிதம், then that is actually called as a pseudocode. Okay, so here if you see the pseudocode for the algorithm that for the solution that we derived previously is very simple. I need to get inputs. Okay, so when I put input and when I say these two are the components I'm getting from the user, tell me the number of takeoff, tell me the number of landing. Okay, and this is a constant value. That is, I am already know that when I start a day, the number of flights is equal to 100. This is not going to change for each and every time. Okay, so I'm fixing this as a value. Okay, fixing this as a constant. So initial number of flights is equal to 100. If I take a particular day, this will never change from one time to another time. Time t1 leo it will be 100, for time t2 leo it will be 100. Okay, so I'm giving this as a constant rather than an input. I'm not getting it from the person. If நான் time t1 ல calculate பண்றேன்னா time t1 ல முடிஞ்சிருக்கிற டேக் ஆஃபையும் லேண்டிங்கும் எனக்கு வேணும். If I'm doing the same program at time t2, again the number of takeoff and number of landing will change. So when I put the word input in front of it, it actually means someone should give me that detail. Okay, that is the user who's using it. Then the initial number of flights is going to be 100. Then the current number of flights, as ma'am gave the answer, initial number of flights, to the initial number of flights I need to add the number of landing, and I have to subtract the number of takeoff. And finally, display is the output that I require. I will display the current number of flights. Okay, when I put it in within double quotes, it actually gets displayed as such, and current number of flights is what I've calculated over here. So and the value வந்து இங்க print ஆகும், இது அப்படியே print ஆகும், இது value இங்க print ஆகும். Okay, so I've just a pseudocode representation of an algorithm. So we will be working out with pseudocode representation of algorithm over here if you see. So as I said, so number of takeoff, number of landings are going to be called as variables. When I get input from the user, ஒரு டைம்க்கு டைம் அந்த input value மாறுதுன்னா அதை நம்ம variablesன்னு சொல்லுவோம். கான்ஸ்டன்டா இருந்துச்சுன்னா, it's not going to change na, we will keep it as constant and you will be using an assignment operator for that purpose. And this part is called as your logic. Okay, so this is your logic over here. This current, this is your logic, simple logic, and finally this is your output. Okay, so this is how a pseudocode will be looking like. We will be exploring different, we will write pseudocodes for different kinds of problem in our forthcoming sessions. Okay, so with this I'm finishing up with the introduction of programming. So we will finish up with this. Okay, and I'll just give you a gist of your laboratory session. So this is your digital cafe URL. I hope if you people are sitting in your laptop, you can get into this www.rajalakshmicolleges.net/Moodle. So www.rajalakshmi, I have it with me. I'll start from first. One sec. I'll close this and I'll open it again. So this is your digital cafe portal. The URL for your digital cafe portal is being given by Bhuvan sir already. Okay. So if you get into your portal, it will be asking for your username and password. Since I'm already connected, it's going directly for me. So this is the course. So here, if you see, you can see a course over here. So which is being called as FDP on Python programming. So if you click this, you will get in. So certain announcements are over here. So you people are being given with the InfyTQ URL, the registration process and the signing up process, and InfyTQ can also be added as an app into your Android mobile. So all the URLs are being given for you to get explored to the InfyTQ portal. And similarly, each and every day, what you have to do is, this is day one. Okay, day one is introduction to programming and algorithms. So you are being given with an MCQ to introduction to programming and algorithms. You have to attend it. You people have to attend it. It's a 30-minute, but it won't take that much amount of time. Whatever that we have discussed in today's session, you will have questions related to those topics. So kindly attend this today itself without fail. Okay, so this is one thing that you people have to do. And another thing is about your InfyTQ portal. So if you click this registration page, okay, you will be explored with this. You will be navigated to this page. So where you have to give your first name, last name, email, password, and confirm. Actually, this InfyTQ portal is meant for students. Okay, so students can take up their course and student can do certification on this InfyTQ portal. We teachers cannot take that test and all, but we can refer that course. As a teacher, it is possible for us to refer the course, but we cannot take up the examination because it will ask for the batch, which batch passed out you are. Currently you should be a student. If that is going to be the case, then you can do this certification. Otherwise you cannot do this certification. So if you get into this page, you can proceed with your registration process. So after registering, what you have to do is you can sign up. Okay, so to sign up, you can sign up with Google itself. So this can happen. So this is your signing up page. Okay, so after signing up your page, when I click, okay, so whenever I start up with InfyTQ portal, what will actually come is, I will show you from first. So after logging in, I'm already logged in, so it'll go directly for me. So since I've already logged in, it's getting directly. Okay. So these are the foundation courses. You have foundation courses like this. So programming fundamentals using Python is the course that you have to get in. Okay, so this is the course for which you're going to go through the course content. So when I put start over, so these are the topics, okay, that's been given over here. So why programming, the scenario, what is a program? So I already told our syllabus of teaching is being based on this InfyTQ syllabus. So here if you see, you can attend quizzes over here. You can attend the quiz directly. So this is a quiz. Okay, in this forum you people can attend this quiz. Okay, it's obviously possible. So in the quiz attend panni answers வந்து you can submit over here. You can submit the answer. So my kind request is if you kindly register into InfyTQ portal today itself and try to finish this quiz one alone. Okay, you can finish this quiz alone because this is only this quiz one alone is connected with your today's session. So quiz one and the MCQ in Digital Cafe is what you people have to do today. Okay, so MCQ will be very easy. It can maximum take 10 minutes time for you to solve it. So whatever we have discussed, it will be easy for you to, if you have listened to the class, it will be very much easy for you to answer those questions that have been given in your MCQ, and try to attend this quiz. It will take just 5 minutes for you to finish it. Okay, if you have opened the InfoTQ portal, you can directly finish this quiz. This quiz is already they have given you a scenario over here, and they have told what type of problem is it. Okay, so scenario over here, what type of problem, so you have to just match it. I'm just, if you pull it like this, it will perform the match. I've just done it for you to show. Okay, I'm not marking it correctly. If you do it and finally if you submit, it will say whether you are correct or not. Okay, so the accountability is not to us over here. So we are insisting you people to work out these quizzes and exercises so that you will get used and you will get more practices. Okay, so otherwise you have to work out all these stuffs that are there with respect to your digital cafe portal. So kindly today itself create your own login in your InfoTQ portal as well as in your digital cafe portal, and try to finish the quiz one in InfoTQ portal and the MCQ in your digital cafe portal. So with this, I finish up with my today's session, and tomorrow we will be discussing about certain stuffs which are again related to programming. Okay, but they are if you understand those features that I'm going to teach tomorrow, it will be very much easy for you to follow things with respect to Python programming. Okay, so tomorrow also we will be meeting again by 3 o'clock, and 3 to 4 will be our session. So if you have any doubts, you can ask, and kindly feel free to interact in between the session. Okay, it's not this can be taken as a discussion room. Okay, so I'm just a colleague of yourself. I'm not your teacher. I'm your colleague who's going to support you in this teaching learning process. So feel free to ask questions. It's not at all an issue. And from the third day, your laboratory sessions will be starting, and all the 7 teachers will be supporting you in a very much better way, because you can have a one-to-one communication with them very easily, because 90 students, 90 participants are getting divided into 7 batches, so it will be easy for you to communicate with them. So with this, I'm finishing up with today's session. Is there any doubts, or am I going a bit fast, or I am in the correct phase? If you tell it, I'll go in that way. Or shall we close? I will post this recording as well as PPT in the Digital Cafe portal. Bhuvan, you're there? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Arulmoli.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Dinesh. Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
ma'am. This is Shalini from Food Technology.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am, I can
I
hear
have
you.
international conference. Yeah, I
When, ma'am?
have international conference on December 10th and 11th, ma'am. What to do,
Oh,
ma'am, on that day? How to attend the FTP, ma'am?
ma'am, is
I
your
don't know the time
session?
of start
That is
time.
what I gave you the timing. 2 to 3
I
will be your
don't know the
theoretical
slot
session.
time. They didn't inform.
Okay, so you just
Yes,
if it
ma'am.
is
I
possible
know,
for you
but
to know, if it is possible for you to know
ma'am,
about
they
your
didn't tell me till now. Yes, ma'am. I will ask